Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Plaid Hat Warehouse, and meet our guy here, Joe. Joe, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Joe. I work here at Plaid Hat Games. This is the Plaid Hat Games office. You can tell because we have Plaid Hat Games here. Very few other places have Plaid Hat Games.
That's true.
When you see a Plaid Hat game, you know where you are.
You know you're either at Plaid Hat Games, a really good game store, or the coolest, hippest spot.
I once left a copy of Spectre Ops at Relax's Just Coffee in Mansfield, so you could be there.
You could be there.
That is some good coffee.
If you're there in the comments, shout it out. I am Donald Schultz. I'm the multimedia director at Plaid Hat Games, and this game has some multimedia stuff in it I directed, so I'm going to sit next to Joe.
Everyone here, I'm assuming, has heard of Familiar Tales, but the experience that you're going to have playing this game, get excited.
Yeah, Familiar Tales is a storybook based game. It's our a story crafting game where you're making your way through this beautiful storybook that serves as the map. We've got beautiful detailed miniatures, and you're experiencing a story with a princess. She's growing up as you play the game. All the things you're doing are crafting the experience and changing what happens. And part of the way that works is with our handy dandy app. It's going to give you story beats. It's going to manage fiddly mechanisms that you know will bring you into the game. So Joe, I don't like apps in games. I don't like them because I don't want to look at a computer screen. I want to look at my game. Right. What do you say to that?
Yeah, people get a little touchy.
And I get it. I feel that way most of the time.
Yeah, I get it too. I'll tell you there's different ways you could put an app in a game, right?
Of course.
In Plaid Hat games, especially our more thematic games, are all about immersion and also about the people at the table and relating to each other. So we have built our app philosophy behind those goals. So we want, one, for you to spend more time with the actual gameplay and conversing with the people at your table.
Yes,
not less.
When you're playing Familiar Tales, if you want, you can totally read each entry. The audio is completely optional. If you want to, you can read it aloud, like you're reading a storybook to your friends. But when I play a game like this, I've played some games in the past where I'm spending the whole time flipping through a book to find an entry and then sort of reading it aloud to everybody. And after a while, it feels a little like I'm not playing a game with my friends. I'm kind of engaging with the game, if that makes any sense. I'm sort of like doing a book report in front of my friends in the middle of the thing. And so our goal was to use the audio and the presentation side of things for that to let you look at your friends, look at the game, and just listen to that experience, and let the app handle as much of it as possible.
Right. Because an app-required game could also do the same thing you're describing.
It totally could.
It could be, I got to click so many things, and this is showing me how to set up, so let me look at the app, and put that over there, and then we look back to the app. All right, let's play. Oh, you're attacking. Oh, let's go back to the app to resolve the attack.
So that's one of the things we're going to show you today. It does some other things, though. Turn order is important in this game, and it tracks that for you.
Yeah, it does. And so the other thing we want to do with it is the immersion, and to make you more immersed in the world.
Yes.
Nobody beats Jerry Hawthorne, a designer of this game, for building worlds that you want to be in and you want to spend time in. It's a place where there's good and bad, but you want to see the characters succeed and you want to be friends with them.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that we're trying to do with an app, is make it more immersive. So whenever I see people complaining about apps, I understand, because I've had the same complaints, but we're really from the get-go using those same complaints in the way we think about how we make these apps. So what we're going to show you is not going to take very long. It's a simple app.
No. We've got custom dynamic music that you can toggle off and on if you want, but when it's your turn, the music subtly changes. You're going to see some of that. We've got sort of the danger tracker through the game. That's a thing that updates every turn. Often in board games, I find when you have an action like that, what ends up happening is somebody's turn passes, they forgot to move it up. Then we stop playing the game, stop engaging with the game, stop being immersed in the world, and start talking about, did this go up or did this stay down? Did you remember to do this 2 turns ago? Do you think we should just do it now? Let's move it up 2, because I can't remember when the last time we did it is. And that's not really immersive or engaging with the game. So that kind of like busy work, the game is just sort of taken off of your plate. So you can just focus on the experience. Yeah. Joe, you want to show us this app?
Yeah, so let's talk about the format. This is a website, familiartalesgame.com. I've got the Mac and Windows downloadable version ready to go so that you could download it onto a computer. Just dealing, for the first time ever, going through the process of code signing and basically dealing with Microsoft and Apple and convincing them that our program's not malware so that you can download it and your operating system won't freak out on you or trying to open it. So it's very, ready to go. So this download will come soon. Then you can do everything without an internet connection. You'll own, that copy of the program forever. So there won't be any concerns there. But this is the web version, which I think, 80-90% of people will, percent of the time this will be used.
Runs on mobile.
Yep. Runs great on a phone.
Browser based, so easy peasy.
So when you go in, you'll start a new game. We'll just put PHG in.
That's an exciting name. What inspired that?
I don't know. It's just came to me. So the other thing the app optionally does, it has a rule book and everything you need is in there, but it will also walk you through setup and walk you through a full tutorial too, which I'm really excited about. I think this is going to be really helpful for getting people who haven't played a game this in depth before in. So, I'll even show you at the very beginning. It just gives you a basic setup of, that first part of the rule book for how to just put the game together. And, we won't go through the full setup, but if you just, it'll ask you if you want help with your campaign, give you instructions about that, with some helpful pictures, and it'll do the same thing with setup as well.
And if
we'll click no on it.
If you're looking at this, it's very step by step. The game is actually pretty easy and quick to get set up, but something like this lets you, again, not be looking at the rule book and not have to search for things.
Yeah, just simple things.
So what you're hearing right now, this is the custom music. It changes depending on what's happening in the story, what the page is. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit, but first let's bop it a little bit.
I have to imagine because I have headphones on.
Ooh.
I love
That's smooth. This was done by Andrew Manson. So if I say it's at the end of Blaze's turn, click this green button, the danger tracker automatically goes up, and the music changes. Now it's Chalk's turn. Ooh, that's that low end. I feel it bumping really good. Now, if I say end of turn again, it's Flicker's turn. Ooh. And different instruments take over the music. So if we're sitting around having a side conversation and talking, I hope that you're gonna instinctively know, oh, it's my turn. You won't even really think the music is telling you that. Hopefully by the end of the, first couple games, your brain is just gonna tune in to the Pavlovian response of the music.
Pavlovian. I was sitting here trying to think of the word Pavlovian.
Yeah.
I knew I could count on you.
That Pavlov makes me drool. So I'm going to turn this music down just a little bit in the mixer so that we can talk about... Actually, I'll mute it. It'll make things easy. So Joe, what am I looking at? What is this?
This is everything the app does kind of in one spot. The app needs to know what turn you're on, but you rarely will you have to change that. It'll automatically change. So the game, of course, like Donald showed earlier, comes with a location book. The first page you'll be on is this page 3. So it kind of starts you there. You'll notice there's everywhere you go, there's things underlined where you can get a definition, and you can go down a rabbit hole of reading all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, what does familiar mean? What does figure mean? That's cool.
You've got the danger that you've already pointed out. We've got a full rules glossary, which is really helpful. So if, especially for those things like status effects, you can just get that info really fast without having to flip through stuff.
I haven't seen this before, so I'm reacting to this, in the moment. But I like that you have fire symbol and on fire on there, because people are not going to necessarily know what keyword to always write.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to kind of like be able to kind of ballpark it sometimes, it looks like.
Yes, there's an algorithm that I think does a pretty decent job of helping you find what you're looking for. But the core of what you're going to see a lot is type in an entry number. So if anybody played our game Forgotten Waters from 2020, you will recognize this, and we use it for a lot of the same purposes. So the game setup tells you to go ahead and enter 101, and all this stuff, 90% of what we're going to run into is the narrative and the voiceover and audio drama put together so excellently by Donald here. Also acted.
It's all me.
Also the fill-in actors whenever
we needed help, we have Elizabeth Maxwell voicing Blaze the Fox. We've got Justin McElroy voicing Gribbert the Frog, and Eris Quinones as Flicker. We've got Christopher R. Sabat as Chalk, who makes more sounds than you would expect because he's a sound design element. He's got a little bird voiced by Paula Deming on his shoulder. There's lots of great voices in here, and they actually did all the work. I just sort of put some sound effects in there and mixed it.
Yeah, so if we go ahead and just put in the starting thing.
Nice.
Need us somewhere good.
So this is the beginning of the game?
Right. This is the beginning intro. So it's, a little longer than a lot of the entries.
Yeah, we won't listen to the whole thing just because we respect your time, but let's take a little peek.
The night hung heavy over the countryside, as did the dark rain clouds that traversed the sky. The land was hilly and green, and mostly uninhabited, save for a modest cottage that was little more than a single room. Lightning crashed as the sound of frantic pounding came from outside the cottage door. Old Marilius called out,
Hold on! Goodness me!
The old wizard crawled out of bed and found his robe. But where was his hat? No matter. He looked at the 4 familiars who served as servants, pupils, and in many ways, adopted children.
Flicker, will you get us some light? Blaze and Gribbert, be on guard for trouble. Chalk...
The old man looked at the stone golem, which stared vacantly at a wall. Tweets, the bird that acted as Chalk's voice, was nowhere to be seen.
You just keep looking pretty.
Huh? Please clap. That was amazing.
So you're going to have this incredible narrative stuff. I'll tell you what, when we first commissioned this on Forgotten Waters, up till the moment where we got samples, Colby and I both were like not 100% sure. Like, oh, what if people would rather read it? What if that's the better experience? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then within the first few seconds of hearing the first stuff you sent over, it was like, oh, it's incredible. Oh, it's awesome. It makes everything so much better.
What's exciting for me is we did Forgotten Waters. That was recorded and edited and mixed and put into the game during the beginning of COVID lockdowns and stuff. So that was a lot of scrambling to get actors recording at home studios that weren't set up correctly, getting audio slapped together, bringing my rig home and working on it there. This game, you should hear, I would say, a noticeable, to me at least, as somebody who like knows the ingredients, I think it's over 100% better audio and performances and everything all around. It's really got it's got a lot of my heart and soul and blood, sweat, and tears in it. And if you don't like it, if you say something bad about it in a review, oh no. That's personal.
Well, I think the other thing is, like, in Forgotten Waters, each scenario, you had your one main character captain just for that scenario. But for this, these main characters, you're with them for a very long time. So the performances are things that you really grow familiar with, and that really, I guess...
Familiar.
And that really... the stakes are kind of higher for the performances. I mean,
yeah,
they need to be excellent because these are going to be your friends that you're with for many hours.
And the characters grow and change and age. There's a lot of interesting stuff for the actors to chew on, whereas Familiar Tales was more sort of like a fun, zany pirate adventure without, usually from moment to moment, your character sort of amnesia'd whatever may have happened before, and just sort of like reacted to it in the moment. But in this, there's a lot of branching paths, but it sort of coalesces into these really cohesive moments that you kind of shape.
And this can be played 1 to 4 players.
1, 2, 4?
1, 2.
So no 3?
Correct. You interpreted me correctly. We're always on the same page. So the game will usually you're either going to be just on the location book, on the map, or you're going to, or in between pages, you might have a little of this narrative stuff. So in this case, you get to ask some questions.
Who is this child?
Right, we'll just ask like one because we don't want to spoil too much. But can I play this?
This precious thing is none other than the Princess of Principalia.
Oh man, that's so
kind
good.
Of a spoiler, though. And you can ask more, but we'll go ahead and end. And you get another story and instructions to get rolling. Then you get this prompt. Would you like the app to teach you how to play? Now, this is something we added relatively recently that I am so pumped about because I think it does a good job of showing some things off. So,
I haven't seen this in action yet.
So if you click yes, this will actually teach you the entire game during playing the first page of the book. So it gives you basic instructions and images. And I won't bore you with too much, but shows you where to put the enemies. And then says, okay, click done. Talks to you about a couple more things. These are all, of course, important details. But my point is to, for Flicker's very first action, let's go review this. So there are numbers, if you can see on there, that can be explored. So you'll go around and explore things.
I think you're covering up the tutorials.
Oh.
There's the tutorial.
Oh, sorry about that, kids. Can we skip back a few, Joe, so they can see the sweet?
Yeah.
Sweet. Like, why is Nikki in here pointing at the screen? So yeah, there's a tutorial pop-up that popped up there, and it was really cool.
Yeah, that's okay. I think they know the idea. Here's the big thing. Here's what I didn't want you to miss is that.
Okay, so it's Flicker's turn. What does she want to do?
Exactly. So this is going to teach you the game, but not just have you do what it says. It's going to give you the agency that you're going to have for the rest of the game.
So I'm Flicker, and I'm like, I want to forage for food. That sounds important.
Exactly. And so at that moment, it will teach you to do that. It taught you about moving at the beginning when we had it covered up.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, well, actually, I said that. I don't actually know what forage means.
Well, that's the detailed description.
Yeah. But that's great.
But yeah, basically the app is going to let you explore and
Never mind.
do what you want.
That sounds boring. I want to attack.
Yeah. and it knows whose turn it is, so it knows that Flicker is ranged, so it's going to teach you about ranged skill tests.
Very cool.
Or agility skill tests, I should say, and teach you about line of sight and everything like that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what does line of sight mean? Oh, hey, there's a detailed explanation, but this gives it to you in layman's terms with a little diagram. That's so cool, Joe.
Yeah, and it let's say that, okay, I'm in range. It's going to teach you about skill tests in full since it's the first time. Like, it knows what it's taught you. So I think it's really effective. It'll ask you, you'll play cards, and we're not showing the gameplay of the game, but you'll play different cards that have effects at that moment. And when you're done, it teaches you this because you haven't learned that yet about those different symbols. It knows that it's Flicker's turn, and it knows that Flicker has some cards with this magic wand symbol. And so it's going to check, and it tells you about your item that triggers based off of that. So it teaches you in a very context-sensitive way.
I love it.
Has everybody going deep, step by step in these skill tests. And eventually it'll ask if you passed. And it'll show you how to do damage, and we'll just say we didn't do that. And then it takes you back here, and eventually you run out of cards. You decide to end your turn. It tells you about that, and it just also knows what you've done. So you go to 103, do everything that says, and it'll be 103 time. So. We could listen to this one, maybe. Is this a good one to listen to?
They stood at the edge of a vineyard and gazed out at the tangled plants that grew in rows among the dark, fertile soil. The sweet scent of grapes wafted in on the humid air.
Plants! Many plants!
Tweet chirped as Chalk absently scratched its hindquarters.
Well said, my friend, as always.
And Gribbert patted the golem on the arm.
Many plants indeed. Let's take yonder path the farmer so thoughtfully laid down and see what we can find.
Plants! Many plants!
Gribbert nodded as if Chalk and Tweets made perfect sense.
Yes, nothing gets by you. I'll take that as you're in agreement with me.
So you heard Paula and Chris Sabat and Justin McElroy there. And then it says we get a power, and we put a token on there.
Yeah. And now that option is gone. And so it'll make sure you get through all the mechanics before, by the time you get through everything you need to do on this page. You'll learn the whole game. You'll learn about trading. You'll learn about leveling up, searching, foraging, and attacking, and being attacked.
So this is here as a tool if I have never played the game, or maybe I'm the only person at the table who doesn't know how to play or something. And, if you're the type of person who read the rule book and already knows the deal, when you're playing, you're just playing the board game like normal without having to look at that stuff.
Yeah, if you don't like rule books, I hope to say that this is one of the few games that has a true alternative as part of the game to just reading the rule book. But I do think a lot of people, it would probably be they would read the rule book, and this would also help you get through without making those first play kind of mistakes.
Yeah, often when you've
those...
read the rule book, the first couple rounds, it's still kind of like it's hard to find the rhythm of how you're supposed to play. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I really believe in this game because I just think we have turned over every stone to do everything we can to elevate the narrative board game kind of experience. I mean, I just think we've looked outside the box in every place we can, whether it's on-ramping or the immersiveness of the audio or just crafting this app very carefully and playtesting it with an app all the way through, which is different from Forgotten Waters, where we added it pretty late, so that we could really test out the user interface and say what's really going to be helpful, what's going to get in the way, to make a sum total experience.
Yeah,
That kind of grabs you and keeps you engaged, and I'm really, really proud of what we've done with it.
And you say, we thought outside the box, but we also thought inside the box. because there are some really rad miniatures in there. So if you're into that, we got you covered.
The usual way to get sales from board games. We also did that. Yeah, that is kind of all we wanted to show off. You can still pre-order at preorder.familiartalesgame.com. Yeah, I wonder if there's any comments or questions or thoughts or things you guys want to talk about with Plaid Hat Games or with this app or with Board with Life.
No.
What happened to the RPG podcast? I went to listen and all of a sudden it was gone.
It's a good
I
question.
went to do my weekly listen.
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Well, Joe, I'm glad you asked. My credit card, I lost it. And then I got a new one and the number changed. And I didn't update that information on Libsyn. And it sent me several emails and an email account that I do not check, telling me, hey, you're about to lose everything. And I didn't think about it until it was too late. So any questions about Familiar Tales? I'm used to giving Joe a hard time, not Joe giving me a hard time.
You know what my personal favorite non-Plaid Hat app assisted game is?
What?
The original Space Alert, which used the original app assistant, the CD player.
Yeah. I consider
played a track on a CD player.
Dark Tower is my favorite app assisted game.
What was that? Was that with a VHS?
I've never played Dark Tower. I thought it had a little guy that you'd push a button on his head and he talked. Yeah, that was an app.
I found at a thrift store. I don't know what it was called, but it was like Stratego, but instead of showing, like when you battled, instead of showing the other person, you would both put it on this metal thing and it would like light up and show who won the battle, so you didn't know exactly what number the other person played.
Show how it saves games. Is that interesting?
Saves games.
Nikki came in and said we should show how you can save your game.
It's gonna ask you when you get. Let's just minimize it. When you get through each page, so we've had to figure out how to talk about the game because it has 3 eras, 9 chapters, but those chapters are split into 79 pages, so I don't know, 38 or 39 maps. So you could easily say that you wouldn't be lying to say this game has 37, 38, whatever scenarios. But I think that some of them are shorter, some of them are longer. So what we've done is we give you the chance to save the game after every single page. So you're in control of how long your session is, basically.
You're not, a lot of times with these sort of games, I'll often kind of feel like once it gets going, it'll be like, oh, I'm kind of like stuck in this for like 4 hours. I don't want to be the guy who like gets up, and I actually had to go. This is a much easier game to sort of shape around your evening.
That is one of the worst feeling in board games, that we don't do enough in general
as
an industry to work with. Like,
yeah, totally.
Like, oh yeah, sure, I'll play, and then you see the person start taking off the shrink wrap. Oh my god, they've never even opened it.
Oh, we're gonna be here for 5 hours.
So if you put it away, it has pretty simple instructions on how to do that, on how to keep all of your components separate. The
Danger!
dials.
Follow these steps.
Okay, I'll take a look at that.
We're gonna change that heading.
And now, the next time you come back,
look at all these fake names that we've saved doing tests. We've got Butts. Butts has played twice. LR. What's the game code?
The game code is you can load your game from another device.
Oh,
Yeah,
so if we've been using my phone and then we play, and my phone's out of batteries,
Yeah.
I can just enter the code?
Yep, you can load it from here.
I didn't know that. I'm learning.
Get that in, yeah.
All right. So if anybody wants to, they could just steal those codes.
That's right, they could
They
steal
could
those
start
codes.
tampering with your butts.
We're lucky that was the worst thing in our saved games.
It's true. Joe does have a potty mouth.
I tended to use gibberish, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who did but.
That sounds like Nikki,
It does indeed.
who's in the other room cackling.
There's a question.
There is a delay question.
Looks like cows.
Butts and dancing cow gifs. Question here from VTuber Chronos. Main question I always have about app-driven games has to do... Oh my gosh, this window is so small. One moment. Let's make our lives better. App-driven games has to do with the longevity of the app. Does it require an internet connection to use it? Will there be a way to archive the APK? I don't know what APK is. Joe can speak to that, but I can say right down here, you can see the Windows and Mac version of the game will be available very soon. It's just waiting on some certification and us to finish voiceover. Is that correct? So
Yeah.
you'll be able to download it and have it. It's yours. It's not really a thing that we're going to be like patching a ton of, I don't think, or changing over time.
We'll update it.
I guess for like compatibility or
Yeah, because and then as we add other languages and things like that. So yeah.
I was thinking it wouldn't be like Fortnite seasons or something, I guess is what I was thinking.
When we he's right. It's done. It works great on Windows and Mac. It's more a matter of figuring out the distribution side of it, which is the first time for me. If it turns out that's going to be a pain and it's going to take like 2 months, then maybe we'll put the files up with a warning of you're going to have to get through the security warnings, in order to use it. But that is fully downloaded. All of the voiceover and music is in that package. And so, it'll work forever as long as you have a compatible operating system to play it on. So yeah, really excited about that. If you play it on the website now, because we have those options, I'm going to leave it so that you will need the internet there, and that's going to be most convenient for most people. But yeah, I'm really happy that with how the Windows and Mac clients are working.
That's awesome. They say, "Oh, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, VTuber Chronos, for being one of our thousands of viewers on this stream."
Yeah, man. Space Alert. That was great.
That was great. Any other questions about the game? Let's take a look at these options. You can set your music volume, your voiceover volume. You can set the text size. That's an accessibility issue, right? Or accessibility option right there, my friends.
Fairly accessible.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the audio, and you can even if your device is having trouble with the audio, there's some settings and some recommendations on what you could do to make it function better. Joe's thought of everything. Throw a question at Joe.
We were we hope, because I don't know if anybody's as excited about us about the music, because
nobody's as excited about us as us.
It, and we're so happy with it. It's so incredible. It's, to be clear, it is composed for Familiar Tales. This is not stock music. There's 5 or 6 different songs that all have those different turns for the different characters, and it's something that's not that strange in video games. But nobody in board games.
I don't think it's ever been done with a tabletop game. Most of it was done by Andrew Manson. He got a little assist from our friend Christopher R. Sabat. You might know him as the voice of like 80% of the characters on Dragon Ball Z and all those shows. But he's also a great musician, and he did our sort of boss fight theme, which is very rad. But yeah, I mean, it knows what page you're on. It changes the music to suit the tone of that page.
As the danger goes up.
As the danger goes up, the music changes. It's not just like whose turn is it? It also is like how the tension is rising, and then the drums will come in. I think it's pretty cool. As somebody who did nothing with it, I had no involvement with it other than saying like we should hire Andrew. I think they did an incredible job.
You wrote all the specifications for what it should be that just ended up working perfectly.
I think it really adds a cool vibe to the game, and just again, it's bringing your eyes and your brain into the tabletop experience. It's not a thing to fuss with. It's you know, I think it's very exciting. I think it's very cool, and you should too.
It goes all the way back to Michael Land writing the iMuse system for LucasArts.
It does. In a way, it goes back to M by Fritz Lang using motifs in a motion picture. Yeah, I mean, it's.
I wouldn't give that movie 4 stars. Always 5 stars for me.
The deep cut. It doesn't look like we have any more questions. If we sell, if we double our sales before the end of the stream, Joe and I will kiss. So you've got a couple more seconds to hit that off. Oh, darn, they did it. No, I'm just kidding. Question. How are you both so damn handsome? Oh, that's a first-time chat from a viewer. It's a good question. And it has a lot to do with diet. Where do I buy? Now, that's a good question. You can pre-order the game now. Now, I don't know if y'all have heard about this, but the shipping situation in the world has been pretty wild. But we're thinking that people are going to be able to get their games. We're hoping and we're thinking in February. Can I say that?
You just did. There's a link right there in the chat.
There's a link in the chat.
Pre-order.familiartales.game.com. You can also go to plathatgames.com and it's right there on the front.
Mid to late February, Nikki confirms, is when we're thinking the boat will get it here, and then the boxes will go on the train, and then that'll get here.
So those damn pirates.
A lot of pirates.
Slowed us down.
The Forgotten Waters set. NPC Era says, wow, throwing shade at my very complimentary question.
That's right. Free shipping to Canada, UK, France, Germany, Italy, other places. You have to go look at the list.
Yes, you yelled at us for years and we listened. We figured out how to do free shipping to other regions.
Yes.
Please buy the game.
Yes.
We have foreign partners that are adapting audio for other languages. So if you buy the game from us now and you English isn't your native language, obviously you'll be buying an English version of the game, but the app will eventually have other languages and stuff and audio for other regions.
Those Germans, they love Mice and Mystics.
They do. They do.
Yeah, I think that's probably about it. Yes?
Where
our viewers are going up.
Man, we're blowing up. They heard about that kiss. Yeah. On a relevant note, NPC Aaron says, I'm pretty excited for this one. My family loved playing through Stuffed Fables all together. I think this game will be a fun experience to play with a mixed group of adults and kids. And I think if you enjoyed Stuffed Fables and you enjoy the vibe of Jerry's games, I'm gonna go ahead and say, I think this is the best one.
Best one.
I think it's the best one. If you like any of them, this one's better than all those games.
Throw the other ones in the trash.
Yep. Is that it?
Yeah.
Did we do it?
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for joining us.
We've been a little off stream lately.
Yeah, we're going to try to get back to it. We are deep in the weeds trying to...
a lot of it's you trying to get this audio done.
Yeah,
so.
I'm just editing audio constantly now.
I'm just going to remind you to hit stop streaming.
Nikki walked in and said, hit stop streaming. But wait! Olympian says, oh, hi, Plaid Hat. Hi. Yeah, we're back on Twitch, and we're killing it. No one's had the rapport on Twitch that Joe and I have.
You also see above, they said, if you want to add difficulty, add his 5-year-old daughter.
Yes, NPC Aaron said that.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine what my 6-year-old would do at this game. Well, thank you all so much. We hope that this game helped. There's a lot of new ideas in this game, a lot of exciting things, a lot of stuff that we are still, because of the process of development, still sort of like brainstorming and coming up with ways to make the experience better and better and better after the game's already been manufactured. And so because of that, we're really trying our best to communicate to the audience, to you people at home, all of the things that we're doing with this game that we think are, you know, it's hard to communicate it all. So we hope things like this will be useful.
Yeah, we don't know how, so it's up to you guys. Go out there. Door to door. I recommend door to door.
Yes. If every single person watching this stream were to knock on 10 doors and show them this video on their phone.
And those 10 people did the same thing. It really wouldn't take too many chains to cover Earth's population.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd just be 3 loops. Okay, bye.